Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. Today we'll be reviewing the best K-pop comebacks in January. Now, January tends to be a slow month on the K-pop calendar. Last year it was pretty uneventful, but 2024 could not be more different. We hit the ground running and then some. Most of these songs range from, I would say, good to great, though we haven't gotten anything mind-blowing just yet. Still, we're off to a flying start. We'll get into that in just 1 second, but before we do, make sure you subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Alright, without further ado, let's go. Alright, the first taste of IVE in the new year, All Night featuring Saweetie, which is a remake of the 2013 iconopop single of the same name. A fact that I was initially unaware of, so on first listen I was thoroughly impressed with the melody and the hooks, but that can largely be attributed to the original songwriting prowess. I wish the beat drop went even bigger because here it just kind of coasts, whereas you listen to the OG version and it has that oomph to it, you know? Now, there is one glaring flaw with this track, and it's not something that most people would notice right away, but the vocal processing is certainly a choice. Sure, it's all 6 of their voices in unison, but they've been compressed together into this film. It's like an AI replica of IVE that's almost uncomfortable to listen to. Unlike on the chorus of I Am, the vocal blend there sounds like glass, but here it sounds more like plastic, if that's a good analogy. At the tail end, we get some individual backing vocals, but any impact they might have had is dulled by the subpar mixing. Overall, as their first English single, it leaves something to be desired, but I still enjoyed it because my tastes are stupidly basic and I'm of course a pathetic IVE fanboy. That was some lengthy commentary. Let's change up the pace a little bit with some quicker reviews. Here we have a single from Kino, Fashion Style, which sees the Pentagon member fuse warm synthwave with drum and bass, making for a pleasant road trip song as evidenced by the music video, where he drives in a beautiful Ford Mustang convertible. What an exquisite vehicle. Let's just turn into car review. The song is pitifully short, 2 minutes and 15 seconds, too fleeting to leave a mark in my opinion, but the Mustang, ooh, that won't be leaving my mind anytime soon. Just seeing it gives me a shot of dopamine. D&B trend lives on, and OnlyOneOf is the latest to put their stamp on it. The verses are rather unassuming. Luckily, the central hook is rock solid, providing a rush of adrenaline, as the title might suggest, even though they're different hormones. I think the song as a whole would benefit by tying a stronger melody to the riveting production, but still, this fits neatly into OnlyOneOf's catalog whilst retaining their individuality. Next up, AB6, Grab Me. This group, in my opinion, has a pretty spotty discography, title track-wise at least. I think they've yet to really establish a firm musical identity for themselves. But this new rock-tinged single does possess a secret weapon, and that would be the free-flowing, full-throated chorus that truly soars. Too bad it's undercut by a questionable tempo shift, although it doesn't drain the energy completely, thank God. A decent comeback from CIX. Sorry, did I say CIX? I meant to say AB6. Speaking of CIX, boom, perfect transition. I mean, the confusion caused by their similar names is not helped by the fact that they often have comebacks within days of one another. Lovers or Enemies channels a funky groove similar to that of 2021 Cinema, which I reviewed in this video. Here the bounding guitar is toned down a notch, splitting the difference between easygoing and hard-hitting, and actually reminds me of Michael Jackson's The Way You Make Me Feel, which might have my favorite bass line in all of music. But baby, you're killing me. Oh baby, you're killing me. And when they add in the stabs of synth in the chorus, it practically becomes a tribute. Despite this, the production is quite reserved and minimalistic, complementing the also unembellished but catchy hooks. Good stuff. WJSN comeback is nowhere in sight, but fans have just been thrown a bone in the form of Seola's solo debut. On the title track, Without You, she's paired with longtime collaborators Full Bloom. It has their style written all over it, although it's definitely not their best work. The track opens with this echoey synth and some mellow guitar, but quickly launches into a propulsive, sweeping arrangement, adding extra heft. Soda's vocals are great, she shines in the chorus and bridge especially, even sounding a bit like Taeyeon in those parts. All things hint at what could be a fruitful solo career ahead.
Are you sure about that?
TWICE. That's their actual name. TWICE. The first boy group from Pledis Entertainment in 9 years, just debuted with the lead single Plot Twist. They've clearly taken a page out of 17's book, delivering a bright and energetic sound with tireless rookie exuberance that fits nicely in line with this recent resurgence of boyhood pop, which is what they're calling it. The song tries to juggle plenty of different motifs. I think a bit more melodic focus would help to smooth it out, but the real kicker is the 2.5 minute runtime. It's just so restrictive and it makes the track feel underdeveloped. On the plus side, I think the lyrics are quite charming. I like the playful structure. All in all, it's a promising debut that has room to grow as well. It's gratifying to see more and more 5th gen male acts opt for this aesthetic. Another debut in the same vein is Waker's Atlantis, a pop rock track with rollicking energy and a melody that strikes a beautiful balance between nostalgic and uplifting. The composition is taut and cohesive, bar the drastic switch up in the second verse, though it manages to preserve some of the momentum rather than upending it entirely. Atlantis is pretty safe in its execution, and while there's nothing about it that I dislike, the song could benefit with a centerpiece that goes further above and beyond. I'll definitely be keeping an eye on these guys.
What do you mean by that?
Okay, let's talk about the new NMIXX comeback. Dash was fine. It was fine. Instead, I'd like to highlight the B-side Run for Roses, a western country-style spin on their eccentric fare, forging a sense of theatricality with a strong emphasis on the girl's vocals, even incorporating a fiddle, which was a very nice touch. This song is a treat for those who want to hear some more singing from NMIXX as opposed to chanting. It's complete with an honest-to-goodness melodic chorus, which was a welcome deviation from their usual antics. With this much closer to a lead single that doesn't rely on gimmicky catchphrases to grab your attention. Chanhyuk 1 Trillion released on January 1st, making this the unofficial opening act of 2024. His last solo release was the full-length LP Era back in 2022. This feels very much like a cut from that record, particularly the title track. What with the mellow strings meets synth production, the wistful melody and pensive lyricism. Like his previous efforts, 1 Trillion satisfies a particular niche, cruising along with Chanhyuk's cool yet comforting tone. It's not concerned with being flashy or ostentatious, instead focusing on the rich storytelling that's emblematic of his unique artistry.
Nobody's perfect, no.
We finally have a comeback from Sister. 19. The precise date of a full group reunion is still yet to be determined, but for now we have Hyorin and Bibora teaming up after 11 years on this new track, No More. The My Boy subtitle seems to exist for no other reason than as a reference to their debut single. The phrase only appears once at the end. I think it would have been better off serving as a little Easter egg for keen-eared listeners rather than placing it front and center. Now about the song itself, it reminds me of BB Girl's One More Time in multiple aspects. For one, it's the much anticipated return of a veteran outfit with house undertones. The melody is very agreeable, and of course there's an apparent over-reliance on a central hook, which threatens to wear thin. On One More Time it was Give It To Me Baby, and here we have No More is a stylish effort, at times repetitive, but is ultimately buoyed by strong performances and a decade plus of goodwill. If and when Sistar returns, I can only hope for a comeback that rivals that of SNSD or Kara, and amounts to something better than Ryan Jun doing his best Brave Brothers impression. Speaking of Brave Brothers, he's back and in charge of the new single from Trendz, who had a great 2023. This year they decided to come out swinging with this tropical pop number. It's every bit a signature Brave sound production, sonically and structurally reminiscent of Chimat Param, one of the best K-pop songs of 2021. The melodies on Go Up aren't as strong, but the track definitely has heart, and I must commend it for not shifting momentum at all. Not in the pre-chorus, nor the second verse, nor the bridge. They get extra credit for that. As a whole, the song didn't really blow me away, but I really appreciate the high polish and sense of fullness. Very glad to see Trendz on the up and up, working with the right producers and emerging as a reliable contributor in the Nugu boy group scene. Speaking of Nugu groups, ICHILLIN. You guys know ICHILLIN. Their newest single is called Bite Me, a title which caused a bit of a stir. Some people were all up in arms because NHYPEN, of course, also had a song called Bite Me. How dare they? These plagiarizing devils. Anyways, ICHILLIN's discography is kind of all over the place, ping-ponging from cutesy nursery rhymes to edgy girl crush and most recently, bubbly, upbeat rock. The genre hopping continues with their latest comeback, but it may very well be their best title yet. Yes, the MV is in portrait mode for some reason. Don't ask me why. Bite Me bursts out of the gate with a captivating brass loop, then an absolutely grotesque bass line. And at the center of it all is an abrasive, clattering beat drop that sounds like nothing I've heard before. All of which are hallmarks of an immaculate production that's just begging for a heartier melody. I think there is a much stronger song in here somewhere, though it's still a major highlight and their current peak. Really well done. Just like this new comeback from ITZY, Untouchable.
I'm untouchable. 말아서지 못해 시작됐어. 지금 flow just going on and on.
Let me tell you, this is one of their strongest title tracks in a minute. Dare I say the strongest since Wannabe, which was almost 4 years ago at this point. Look, most of their material as of late just isn't for me, but here they are serving up a lavish, mouth-watering slice of electropop that has got me licking my lips. The commanding, slinky bass line gives the one in Bite Me a run for its money. The track still has bits and pieces of sing-talk strewn throughout, but thankfully we have a catchy, somewhat melodic chorus that blows any cake nonsense out of the water. Though it takes a different approach, it still feels uniquely ITZY branded. They haven't had to concede their identity in the slightest. Also, Untouchable is such a cool name. Kudos to whoever came up with that. Last but not least, SF9 had a comeback last January as well. The title track Puzzle didn't have as much staying power as I'd hoped, but follow-up Bibora is likely to fare much better. The two songs share some musical DNA, but Bibora raises the stakes with a pounding 4-on-the-floor beat, and it also cuts to the chase directly. In what may be the most impactful chorus of the year so far, it unveils a seductive, serpentine melody followed by blazing electronic flourishes. Very enjoyable from start to finish. It kind of feels like something WJSN would release. Hell, even the EP is called Sequence. Way to fill that void with this spacey club banger. Oh yeah, there's also this amazing lyric. They call me carpet. I don't even know what to make of that. Anyways, that will do it for this episode. Let me know what your favorite song of January was. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit like and subscribe to the channel for more great content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.